Hello and welcome to this week's edition of First Local. I'm Stacey Hare and we are enjoying a beautiful spring day here in Preservation Park. Our first story, child rights advocate and leadership specialist Craig Kielburger was in Guelph this past week. Abid Virani spoke with Craig about Free the Children and Leaders Today.
The reason why I started to do this work was because of a young boy who was a former child slave. He was 12 when he was killed for speaking out against child labor. His name was Iqbal Masih in Pakistan. And when he was buried, his body was carried through the streets and he was lowered into a grave. And there was this young girl who was caught on film saying these words that I don't think understood the meaning of them at the time. She said, the day that Iqbal died, 1,000 new Iqbals were born. That through his death it inspired others to carry on his cause. And this was before articles were written about his life, before I learned and other young people learned about what he was doing. What he started, that ripple, continued through my brother and I, and continues through other young people who hear about his story or our story, or other youth who have been inspired to take action, and then other youth who've heard about their story, and it literally gets paid forward. And it's this simple idea, and I think it's an incredibly powerful idea, that we send forth these ripples of hope, that through actions we take, it inspires others, and then they in turn inspire others still.
When you were about 12 years old, you're the one who realized, that you did have a voice, and you've come so far, and about 10 years later. But when you started up, you took a trip. Where exactly did you go?
When I was 12, shortly after starting Free the Children as a group of friends, I wanted to actually see child labor with my own eyes. I wanted to actually travel to Southeast Asia and to meet these kids. And so after a lot of pleading and a lot of convincing, I managed to talk my parents into letting me take 2 months off school and to go backpacking through India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Thailand, and Nepal, meeting kids and learning about their lives. I was 12 at the time, and I was looking at kids younger than I was who were working in slave-like conditions, who were bought and sold as slaves, who were working in factories, kids who were pouring molten metal without any protective gear, kids taking apart used syringes with no protection on their hands. I took this trip, and in many ways, 10 years later, why I'm still doing this work is because of that trip and others since. And so one of the biggest things we now do for students is give other students the chance to go overseas and to see it with their own eyes. About 1,000 Canadian students every year join us in going to India or Ecuador or China or Kenya, helping our projects, volunteering overseas. And they spend their summer or their March break and roll up their sleeves and build a school or teach English or work in a medical clinic, just helping and serving however they can.
On your website and on your videos, you have this concept of children helping children. Also, you've said before that we are the generation that people are waiting for.
Yeah.
Do you think you can maybe describe what you mean by that?
When we first started Free the Children, people looked at us and they said, you're kids. They said you have to wait until you finish school, till you get a good job, till you reach a position of influence, and then you can change things in the world. The philosophy behind Free the Children is that you don't have to wait. We came up with a slogan, we are the generation that we have been waiting for. And the idea behind that is to challenge young people, and we start as young as 8, 9, 10, 11, all the way up through high school or college or university campuses, students to take action, to go volunteer overseas in their summer. And by doing that, more than 1,000 students spend their summer overseas with us. Building schools through fundraising, 450 schools we've constructed, 35,000 children every day receiving an education through our projects, clean water supplies, medical clinics, what kids and young people have raised in North America. The funds generated helped more than 1 million kids in developing countries around the world. The basic philosophy behind Free the Children is that you don't have to wait. Even now you can take action. And I also think it's a message not only to kids, but also it's a rally to adults, because if kids can do it, if 12-year-olds can do it, if 10-year-olds can take an action to help their peers, well then anyone can, including any adult out there who hears this message.